Hello and bienvenidos to Pica Poco Kitchen. Today we're making Pastel Azteca. Vámonos! Pastel Azteca or Aztec cake is neither cake nor Aztec. It is, I like to think, more like the Mexican cousin of lasagna. It's very simple to put together and it adapts to whatever your needs and likes are. You can make it red, you can make it green, you can make it vegan or vegetarian. It's all up to you. Or like me, you can make the Poblano version, which is not just my preferred version. I'm making it also to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo, against a few people's belief, is not Mexico's Independence Day. I know you know that, but a few people still think that. Cinco de Mayo commemorates a battle that happened in the state of Puebla. In 1862, an independent Mexico was visited by Spain, England, and France. They wanted their money back from some loans they gave to Mexico in order to become the constitutional nation that was at that point. Spain and England went back home with a new deal, but France stayed a little bit longer because they wanted something more. At the time, France was ruled by Napoleon III, and he wanted to grow his empire, and he had his eyes set on Mexico. But Mexico had other plans. They sent troops to stop them on their way to Mexico City, right there and then in the state of Puebla, in the cities of Guadalupe and Loreto. With fewer men, Mexicans stood strong and defeated the French. Just for a little while, because later on, Mexico actually became an empire with Maximilian of Habsburg, and that's a different story for another time. But for now, I won't bother you with more history lessons. Let's just get to the good part. First, we're gonna start by making our sauce, and for that I'm gonna need 1 cup of Poblano pepper rajas. I'm gonna leave a tag and a link down below on a short video on how to make your own. I'm also gonna need 2 garlic cloves and half of an onion that I've cut in quarters. We're also gonna add 1 cup or handful of fresh cilantro. 1 bar, I believe is 8 ounces of cream cheese. I just ripped mine into 2 pieces just to help the blender a little bit. And 1 cup of chicken broth. I went heavy-handed with mine and I used 1 cup and a half, but don't do that. Just stick to 1 cup. And then you're gonna add a cup or half a cup of milk or cream. That's up to you. Season with salt and pepper. If your chicken broth is well seasoned, maybe just add a little bit of pepper. Let's take our cup to the blender and let it do its magic. Our sauce is ready, so let's move along. In a little bit of olive oil, I'm gonna saute 1 whole onion that I cut in juliennes. And when our onion has become a little bit translucent, we're gonna add 2 garlic cloves finely minced. I have previously cooked some chicken, so I'm gonna add 2 chicken breasts shredded. I'm using chicken breast, but you can use any other chicken meat that you like. You could even add rotisserie chicken. This is putting things that you already have in hand or that you commonly use. Give it a nice mix, let it cook a little, and then we're gonna add our sauce. And make sure to leave behind at least 1 cup of that saucy goodness because we're gonna need it later. So set that aside and let's mix everything together. But before I do that, I'm also gonna add 1 cup of yellow corn. This could be frozen, fresh, or from a can. If you are lucky enough and you have extra Poblano pepper rajas, then you can chop them and add them as well. I didn't have any left, so the corn will do. When the sauce has reduced and the filling starts to simmer, turn it off and set it aside. The next important step is to prep our tortillas. I made mine yesterday, so yours can be too, or you can get them store-bought. Just make sure they're corn tortillas. I will highly recommend you to have half a kilo, which are about 17.6 ounces, and you'll see why later. So in some neutral oil, I'm gonna lightly fry all of my tortillas first. Both sides, make sure they're nice and crispy, and set them aside in a paper towel. We want to give them some structure because they're gonna carry the weight of the chicken and the sauce. If you don't fry your tortillas, the pastel azteca is not gonna hold its shape. The tortillas are there to hold the weight of the chicken, the sauce, the cheese, so you need them to have certain strength. Also, if you don't fry them, they're gonna become a mush with all the sauce and the chicken, and you won't be able to actually feel the layers. So don't skip this step and fry all of your tortillas and just put them on a paper towel to absorb the extra fat. And now the final step and my favorite part, assemble. I will start by creating a solid base. And for this layer is the one that I'm going to use the most tortillas. I'm going to use 8 for this size of pan, making sure they're all intertwined, that there's no gaps, there's no spaces in between, and that they cover well the bottom of my pan. Now let's move on to the filling section. I like to add a thick layer. This is where the flavors and the goodness is, so make sure to add a good amount. Once you have that set, we're gonna cover that with a nice layer of cheese. I'm opted for mozzarella, but you can go any other mild cheese that you like. Once that's done, our next layer of tortillas is gonna be a little bit lighter than the previous one. I will only use 6 for this layer, and now it's all about repeating. More chicken, more cheese, and suddenly chaos. I only had 2 tortillas left, so after panicking for a little bit while, I just made 4 more tortillas. And here they are to give a nice top for my pastel azteca, 4 freshly new tortillas, and let's finish this up. Once you have your last layer of tortillas, we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of cheese, but not without forgetting about our sauce. Drench the top of your pastel azteca. Make sure to go on the sides. This is gonna make that creaminess. It's gonna mix with the cheese and it's all gonna be so good. Now I'm gonna add whatever's left of my cheese, and on top of that, I am going to add slices of this nice provolone that I have, which is quite sharp, because I want to have a little bit of sharpness in my cheese. You can use provolone as well, or you could even use some Swiss cheese, any other sharp flavor that you want. Of course, if you prefer. If not, just go on with a heavy layer of the cheese that you were using before. And while my oven preheats at 350 Fahrenheit, I'm gonna finish off my pastel azteca with a few leftover Poblano rajas that I had because I want people to know that this is Poblano. And also, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of yellow corn just because. A little bit of a party happening here. We're just gonna bake the pastel for 20 minutes. Everything is already cooked. We just want it to warm up and for all that cheese to melt. Then, for other 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how strong your oven is, put it under the grill just to get a nice crunchy golden layer on top. Mine took 5 minutes. And here it is. I don't know why, but I feel like this dish, at least in my house, it was reserved for special occasions. And I think that's a shame. This is a dish that should be made more often. It's simple to make, you know? But before I move on to the testing of it, safety first. And not just for me, mostly for the people around me. Okay then, let's dig in. The poblano smell is so peculiar, that smokiness. I think that's what makes this version a little bit more luxurious. Everything goes well together. The corn, oh, the sweetness of the corn. Magnifique. Something else that I like about this dish is that it is very practical. So you can make it ahead and have it home when you come from work and it's already done. Just heat up a plate and you'll be fine. Or take it to your next gathering. Not just to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but Mother's Day is coming. So I think this would be a good option. So please, next time you're thinking layers, I hope you think of Pastel Azteca and give it a try. And like always, if you like this recipe just like this video, please share it with your friends, like, subscribe, and be notified. And for more, follow me on the socials. Adios, amigues.